Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Um, I had the pleasure of working with Claire, Arlen, and Janice, and really one of our first in-person back together chamber music experiences since COVID started. So it was very refreshing just to hear excellent music in person. So yeah, I just wanted to start off just talking a little bit about you guys, if that's okay. So I think common thread, just like the last time, is that you're all Curtis alumni or current students, right? Could you tell us a little bit about yourselves and like current projects and what you have coming up? And maybe we'll start with Arlen and then Claire and then Janice.
Sure. Everyone, I'm Arlen. If you've been to the Symphony and Virtuosi concerts before, I've probably met you. But I'm a cellist and I'm currently based in New York City, although for a lot of the pandemic, I was at home with my family in Canada, which was really lovely. I miss them dearly. I am a chamber musician. I am a member of the Bang on a Can All Stars. I recently finished Carnegie Hall's Ensemble Connect Fellowship. And I really enjoy being based in the city and playing chamber music all over the place.
And hi, everyone. My name's Claire, and I'm a violinist. I've been at Symphony and C for, I think, 4 years now. So, yeah, time flies. But I am actually graduating from Curtis in a couple days. So I will soon be an alumni, but I've been here in Philadelphia for the past 4 years. And next year I will be moving to New York and attending Juilliard actually for more school. So yeah, very excited about that. And yeah, I'll be at Marlborough this summer, and I think we'll talk a little bit about that. It's a great music festival. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire and Arlen. So I'm Janice. I play the piano, and it's truly always a pleasure to be here for Symphony and C. And yeah, I'm currently based in Philadelphia, and I just came back from New York actually from a project that I've been working on with my friends called Ensemble 132, and we just play a bunch of chamber music and have fun. And yeah, I guess I've been with Symphony and C since 2014, which was actually my first ever chamber music gig outside of school with Zoe Martin Doike and Yoni Drake Blade. And it was so funny because 7 years ago, it was also the Mendelssohn D minor trio. And that was kind of the piece that helped me fall in love with playing with other people, other instruments, and kind of just like get to know that world of chamber music. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And I hope it'll be a fun experience listening to the concert. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your intros, everybody. So Arlen's been with us for a little, probably the longest. So you got to work a little bit with Rawson as well as Stillian, which is cool. Claire, did you play with Rawson at all, or did you come after?
I think I was right when Stillian got there.
Oh yeah, first year. Okay, and then Janice's first concert was that Mendelssohn D minor at Haddonfield United Methodist with Yoni and Zoe. And Zoe's a violist now in the
Yes.
Metropolitan Opera Orchestra.
Did you see the article about her in the Today's Inquirer?
No, I didn't.
Big article about Zoe in Today's Inquirer. Yeah, by Kevin Reardon.
Oh, cool.
Very good.
Check it out.
He's becoming a CPA.
How about that?
She wants to help other musicians with their taxes.
Yeah.
So you know who to call, right?
Fabulous violinist becomes fabulous violist becomes fabulous CPA.
Well, she's not stopping playing though.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. That's awesome. So and then actually the first time that Janice played with the orchestra, she played Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto with us. And at the age of 18, which is pretty astounding. But anyway, I know Janice and Claire will be both going to the Marlborough Music Festival.
There you go.
On it. But So Claire was just saying before everybody kind of joined that you've been waiting sort of 3 years to go, because you auditioned one summer for the next summer, and then the next summer it didn't happen. So this would be the third summer. Do you guys know any chamber music that you might be playing while you're there? Nothing yet?
We don't know yet. I think I'm actually not sure when we find out. Maybe when we get there? I don't even know.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh yeah, maybe for pianists, maybe that might be a little more difficult, more stressful.
Yeah.
But hopefully soon then.
Yeah, that's a little bit scary, I guess. Arlen mentioned a little earlier that she's a member of Bang on a Can All Stars, and that was one of the few bright spots I remember from 2020. She won the job, during the pandemic. Can you tell us a little bit about that gig and what that's like?
Sure, yeah. So I auditioned for them in 2019, I guess. And then I had my trial. So I've gotten to play with them a lot, which I'm really grateful for. It'd be a little bit scary to just jump right in after the pandemic if I didn't even know them. But it's a sextet. It's a really interesting instrumentation. It's piano, percussion,
I know.
guitar, double bass, cello, and clarinet. And we do a lot of touring and traveling and play predominantly new music. The organization Bang on a Can is a larger organization than just our group, and it was founded by 3 composers, Julia Wolf, Michael Gordon, and David Lang. And then I believe that the group basically just started as some of their closest friends that they wanted to write music for, and then it's grown from there over the past 30 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I went to the Hart School in Connecticut, no relation. And Robert Black is the bass teacher there, and he's a member also.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like one of the coolest men alive.
He's amazing. Yeah, he can do anything on the double bass.
I know, it's really scary, but yeah. But anyway, so in just about 20 minutes, we're going to hear Claire, Arlen, and Janice play the Mendelssohn First Piano Trio, Opus 49. It's a real mainstay of the repertoire. It's, no matter how many times I hear the piece, it's really just exciting. It's really beautiful. And I was just wondering, it is such a popular piece. Have any of you ever played it before? Well, I know Janice has. But Claire, Arlen, have you played this before?
I played it when I was a small little kid. As one of my first chamber music experiences. I think I only played like the first 2 movements maybe at a music festival. But yeah, so this is sort of my real first time playing it.
Yeah, that third movement's a little scary.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it though when you play.
Thanks.
That's true.
I was just saying I had the same experience as Claire, where I played the first movement when I was in like a pre-college program, but this was my first time actually playing any of the other movements or kind of playing it for real. So it was really fun to dive into it with these 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So he wrote this piece in the last decade of his relatively short life. He lived to 38 years of age, and he started working on it in 1839 when he was only 30 years old. But he clearly writes very well for the entire ensemble, but you can tell he's a pianist, right? Like, what's the piano part like in this piece, Janice? I mean, everyone's going to hear it in a little while, but I'd love to hear it from you.
It certainly makes my heart go from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds, because, it's so deceptive, because it starts with this very typical accompaniment writing like that, and then 1 page into the music he just starts going from the low register all the way to the up, and all this arpeggios and all this like very virtuosic writing, suddenly very exhilarating. But also at the same time, it's actually Mendelssohn knows how to write for the piano part. It's very pianistic. It just demands a certain kind of attention, agility, and kind of just flexibility and nuances with time and speed and everything like that. And it's always such a pleasure, especially that beautiful middle movement, the song without words, second movement, which is just absolutely ethereal. And I I think playing that with Claire and Arlen, that particular movement was the one that really stood out to me, just playing pure music and joy. But yeah, I certainly love it every single time. It's like a journey and you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I mean, just sitting there like watching you guys play it and recording the piece, I was just like, how is this happening? It's just amazing, and you'll see it when you watch the concert. But it's really pretty amazing piece of music. Just trying to think if there's anything else anybody has for that piece. I'm just trying. It's lovely. I mean, the first movement, the cello solo. I mean, you've probably heard it before, even if you don't know the piece. The second movement, like Janice said, is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. The third movement's a scherzo, and I feel like I'm on the edge of my seat, like for the entire movement. And then the fourth movement is just like kind of a combination of all three. I don't know. That's just kind of how I hear it. But I hope you enjoy it. This was really the first time Symphony in C got to use a good portion of our newly purchased camera and streaming equipment. And it was largely my first attempt at being like the sole videographer, which is also a little bit terrifying. It's almost like turning pages, except you have a lot more time to fix it. But I figured I would share like a couple of photos with you all just to show you what it looked like in the hall where we were recording. Can everybody see this?
Yeah.
All right, so this is kind of the setup. We had like this main camera. This was Stefan's. He brought it, or maybe it belonged to Rutgers, but everybody had their own microphone plus a room microphone, and then there were 7 other cameras set up. And you'll see like a whole bunch of different angles and views of the performers as they're playing. I tried to kind of highlight everybody as their solos and things were happening. So this was actually Stefan took this picture without me knowing. And then same with this one. These were kind of just like mid-session photos of everything going on. This is what it looked like on my monitor. So I could see all of this happening at once, which is really cool when you're actually sitting there. And then we got a nice photo at the end of everybody. So yeah, I had a super fun time doing this. It was really, really awesome just being like the first thing that we did back. We've done a couple other concerts in this virtual series, but this is the first one that we completely produced ourselves. So it's hopefully going to be up to Symphony in C standards. But anyway, those are kind of the photos that I had from that recording session. We recorded on April 16th. So actually just a month ago exactly. But yeah, so this is we're done a little earlier than I expected. But I figured we could save a little bit of time for the end just to see if anybody here had any questions.
I actually have a question for Janice regarding, I think she played the Bosendorfer piano at Rutgers, right? And I know that they're not as responsive as, say, a Steinway or a Yamaha. So what was that like?
It's I haven't played many Bosendorfers in my life just because they're just more rare in general. People find Steinways and Yamahas more often, but the Bosendorfer has kind of this warm quality to it, especially towards like the middle and bottom range of the keyboard. So it was really wonderful to be able to like explore that rich colors like when we're playing the Mendelssohn, because really it's that part of the keyboard that binds at least like the piano part together. But really it's been such a pleasure, and I was so excited to find a Bosendorfer because it's not every day that you find a Bosendorfer. So really thank you. And of course the black keys on the bottom, the extra keys that we don't actually get to have, that sometimes in a piece, like I think there was a piece by Scriabin that required that note, but it didn't exist in like any of the pianos that I play. And so when I saw the Bosendorfer, I was like, that's the note, that's it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I have another question would be for all of you. I mean, we know not a lot of musicians have been in the area, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't been able to bring people together. So how is that now? You were performing at home. I know Arlen had a series. What is that like? You know, what was it like then and what's it like now? How many of you are back in the area where you can get together and play?
I've been back in Philadelphia for quite some time. I think since September, and there's really only a few of us at least around in the city, either current Curtis students or alumni or anyone who lives here. And I know Janice has been here, and we actually worked a lot back in like sort of the first semester of school on Beethoven Kreutzer Sonata together. So we were playing together, and any chance we could find to find one other person to sort of play with, or because it had to be in really small groups, you know, masked in an area that the school approved. That's sort of how it has been, but now it's opening up a lot more. We're allowed to actually use practice rooms and meet with other groups. So it's a welcome time for that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I forgot actually in my line of questioning. I was curious to to know what everybody was doing when COVID hit. Like I know a lot of people were practicing. Like we had Ben Beilman on last weekend for the last concert, and he said that, you know, he got to practice things that he, you know, normally wouldn't get to practice when you know, he's on a touring schedule or he's got X, Y, and Z to play this week, so he's just got to work on those things. But he said he really got to work on some larger parts of his playing that you don't necessarily always have time for when you're in a rigorous touring season. So I was just curious, like, what you guys were able to do with the extra time that you had with COVID. I started baking, so.
Josie really knows how to bake. That cookies and cream cake looks spectacular.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel similar to Ben in that it was like I had a lot more time to explore things on the instrument that I had been wanting to work on, or whatever the case was, just wasn't having time for. I also got to learn a lot more solo repertoire, which was really fun for me to explore a lot of composers that I wasn't that familiar with, and just find new music to keep me occupied. And like I mentioned earlier, I also got to be home with my family, so I got to spend time with them and go on a lot of hikes and just sort of enjoy a bit of a slower and more stable pace of life for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a welcome change in the beginning. You know, everything was getting a little crazy at the time that COVID actually hit, and you know, my kids play sports, and you know, just driving all over the place, and then concerts, and you know, it was nice to be home for a little while. But I would like to leave my home now. Pretty much, that's where I'm at. I love my home and I love my family, but you know, it's been like 16 months and I can't wait to get out and do some concerts. So I'm really excited about that. I think we are going to continue to keep some sort of either virtual chamber concert series going, you know, after this. I think the fact that we've had a lot of time to play around with technology, and you know, it's made things better in a lot of ways. So we can kind of make a hybrid of what, you know, we did before and what we have been doing during the pandemic. So maybe still a virtual series with this equipment, which is cool too, is we're going to be able to live stream everything as well. So even if you can't make it to the concert, you can go on our YouTube channel and watch the concert live. And hopefully sooner than later, we can get audiences back in the hall as well. I'm waiting for that. But we do have coming up a children's concert that we're going to be doing outside at Perkins Center for the Arts in Morristown. And it's a free concert. All you have to do is go onto our website under events and reserve a spot, because there is limited space due to COVID. So as long as you, reserve your spot, it's a free concert. It's on Friday, June 4th at 6:30. They have a large kind of lawn seating backyard area where you can fit quite a few people, and they have a nice stage. So it should be a really good concert. It is outdoors though, so if it does rain that night, we're going to do it the following night on Saturday the 5th, same time. And Queen Noor is going to join us and do a storytelling thing right in the beginning for about 30 minutes. And then our concert is about an hour long. So it's our first foray back into live concerts with live people. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So if you can all make it to that one. We do have a couple other things that we're planning in the summer. I think a brass ensemble concert in Haddonfield. We're looking at July 17th, I think is the date, unconfirmed, but you'll get plenty of emails from Denise about our upcoming concerts. I must say it's been nice to actually see more emails coming that say there's a concert. So yeah, I'm really excited about all this. I think everybody probably wants to maybe not hear me talk anymore. So I'll, unless anybody has any other questions, we'll end here. And